Hello, we have a beer review to do tonight. A lot of new stuff actually showed up in the NSLC as of late. I was just over there, I don't know, 20 minutes ago. And yeah, tons of new stuff, tons of new local stuff. I only picked up one new thing that fits the sort of the theme, the mission statement of this review thing on YouTube. Of course, the high tide imbibe. It's got to be, Maritimes. I kind of fit Newfoundland, Labrador in there, even though some people don't consider it part of the Maritime provinces for whatever reason. Um, but yeah, we have something new from Newfoundland and Labrador. But it's a very old brand, but it's kind of not what it used to be, I guess, in some sense. But we have India beer. This is at this point, a North American style macro lager. It's owned by Molson. You can see it says man's best friend right there. It's got a Labrador Retriever on the label as its logo. It's a classic brand. It's been around since the 1800s. We're going to go to the website. I know the pertinent information is on here, so we're going to do that. And there's some Molson bullshit on here too. But let's share it. There we go. So we got it. What do we need? Okay, so yeah, the actual company, the brand, at the very least, has been around since 1893, and that was the Newfoundland Brewing Company, I think it was. I think that's what it was. And Molson, of course, bought them out in 1962. They had several sort of beers under their stead, and Molson basically phased all them out, but kept India beer and changed the recipe. So I think at one point, see, they got their Molson bullshit here. India beer is a retro North American lager, though they changed it from what North American lagers tend to taste like in 1962, from what I understand. Um, and I think it started out as an ale too. From what I can gather, doing some research online, I think India beer kind of started out more like an ale, and just throughout the years, it gradually became a lager, just like a lot of the other so-called ales from the big guys around here end up tasting like lagers, like Alexander Keith's IPA, for instance, tastes like a fucking lager. Basically, probably is a lager. I don't know if it's brewed as an ale or not at this point. But anyway, yeah, they put it through their own standards, their own system. They cut corners to make it profitable for them. They changed the flavor profile. And so we have the India beer we have today, but it's been a brand that has existed for the longest time, I guess. I think it's been ongoing since 1962 in its current form. And it seems like Molson has done a new kind of like concentrated push of the brand. So it's been popping up in places now. And they got their logo going here. They got merchandise and everything. They got an actual dedicated website outside of the Molson uh, web domain. So they're actually pushing this a little bit. But there you go. That's all we need to really know there, right? Yeah. But yeah, since 1962, this current incarnation of India beer has existed from Newfoundland, Labrador. 5% alcohol by volume. Contains barley. And where is this? Is it saying where this is brewed? Because this might be brewed somewhere else, even. Molson Coors, Canada. Chilliwack, Toronto. Longouli. I don't know where the fuck that is. Moncton, St. John, Canada. It might actually be brewed over here in the Maritimes now, as opposed to over in Newfoundland. I have no idea if this version is from Newfoundland or not. I don't think it is. It doesn't seem to indicate that. So yeah. So, but I mean, I imagine there's no big difference in the taste at this point because, like I said, it's in the Molson system, right? It's in their filtration system and all that stuff that they have in every fucking brewery that they own. You know, it happens to everything they buy up eventually. Eventually, they renovate the brewery they buy. They put in their own equipment. They put in their own system, their own techniques, and they do it their way. And it all ends up tasting like it's going to, you know, no matter where they brew it, it's going to pretty much taste the same. So, yeah, I'm not expecting big things from this. But, it's interesting. I think there was the kind of history part of this that kind of interested me the most. It's like, oh, India beer, I've heard of that. And then we only get, like, very rarely do we get anything from Newfoundland over here. So, let's pour it. Here you go. Looks a little bit more orangey amber on the camera, but that's just whatever, the background, the light coming through. It's basically your typical golden lager color, golden pea color, you know. Let's go to the aroma. I mean, it looks the part, right? Like the head's kind of nice, but it looks like every North American macro lager you can think of, pretty much. Aroma. Oh yeah, it's pretty sweet. So Molson said they were going for like a retro lager smell, and and taste, and in a sense, in the aroma, they're kind of nailing it, because this is kind of how I remember beers smelling growing up, like beers my dad would drink and let me like have sips of and stuff like that. Where you would get a really kind of grainy aroma, and it would have like a sweet kind of almost apple back to it. Not quite like distinctly apple, but like apple-ish in the sweetness. Nothing like one of them fucking bizarre apple beers that you find these days and stuff like that. Like I saw those are coming back again, by the way. It seems like some breweries are trying that again. I remember a few years back when everyone was brewing their version of their apple lager or their apple ale or whatever, and goddamn. Oof. Anyway, this smells fine. It smells like every North American lager, basically. It's a little sweet, a little grainy. Not much else going on. Cheers. Oh. All right, I'll say this about Molson. They tried to spin this as, they put their spin on it. They had to repackage this and change this beer back in '62. And they're putting their spin on it now, that they're going for that retro style. And they're actually kind of true in that regard. Because like I was saying with the aroma, this does taste like how I remember beers tasting back in the day. Like almost 40 years ago now. We got Glitch 777. Hey Lee, I remember watching you back in the day. Hello. Cheers. Still alive. Yeah, it's got like a sweetness. It's got like a bit more of kind of like a grain bite to it, kind of, and like that does bring back nostalgic kind of feelings of like, oh, Molson Export Ale and Alexander Keith's back in the day, and Schooner, and maybe even Labatt and Molson back in the day too. I think they all sort of tasted similar to this. They've gone through new filtrations and new formulas and stuff like that. Like they've tweaked them over the decades so that they taste definitely a bit different, but they tweak them so gradually that you probably really aren't going to tell the difference all that much, unless you're really paying attention, unless you're like a really dedicated Molson fan or some bullshit like that. But yeah, it does the thing it was saying. Like it's got a little bit of that sweetness. It's a little bit more sweet in the taste and in the aroma. And you know, they I'd equate it to like kind of apple-ish, but not apple, just kind of. And the graininess is there. It's light as a feather. It's water. There's no real hot bite, but there is a nice dryness that sort of balances out with that sweetness. So like it's well made for what it is, North American style lager, macro lager. Um, yeah, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it, honestly. It's doing the thing it says it's going to do. So I mean, in that regard, you got to kind of give it high marks for style. You know, I'd say, you know, as a North American macro lager, it's kind of an 8. It's as good as pretty much anything else, and you know, it's not wowing me, but it's good and it's a little bit different. Like I said, it's a bit of a throwback, not a major one, but it's a bit of a throwback. It's distinct enough that it gets an 8 instead of like a 7. Personal preference, I like it. It's fine. It would be a good maintenance beer, I think. I think that it would work that way. You know, I'd rather maybe get this in a 12 pack or something. I don't know if I'd want to buy a bunch of singles of this. I think I'd rather just have like a nice 12 pack or whatever for maintenance beer purposes. But you know, maybe that might come. This seems like Molson testing the waters a little bit. And we got Beer Zircadian here saying beer wasteland product. Yeah, it is a beer wasteland product. It very much is, especially coming from Newfoundland, Labrador. That is a wasteland if there ever was one. But yeah, this ain't bad. I'll go 6.5, a high 6.5. Basically, I would buy it again. Definitely would drink it if someone handed it to me. You know, that's just the personal preference. It's nothing amazing, but I've had way worse. I'd rather drink this over regular Molson. I'd rather drink this over like regular Labatt or anything like that. You know, so you know, it's not bad for what it is, and it's got a nice minimalist kind of labeling. That's always going to satisfy me in an aesthetic way, which, you know, holds no real bearing. But, you know, for me it does, personally, aesthetically. I like my beer labels to look good. So there you go. So cheers. Thank you for watching, Glitch and Beer Zircadian, and whoever else watches. Have a good night. I know I will try to. Now I'm going to fuck off. Bye-bye.